It was 8 years numbing out with food, sex, drugs, alcohol, anything that I could to not be in my body and not feel the sensation of being in my body. And I wouldn't have used that language at the time. I just would have been like, my life fucking sucks and I don't know what else to do about it. And one day I woke up and I said, I cannot do this anymore. And I was in a freak accident that forced me to take 3 months medical leave from my corporate job where I was working 80 hours a week for somebody else's dream, doing something that I hated underneath the fluorescent lights in a 9 to 5. And I felt like I was trapped in a hamster wheel and like I couldn't get off. And then the universe gave me a miracle. We're back, baby, with a brand new season of the It's Fucking Spiritual podcast. Join us each week as we have unfiltered conversations about how to transform your life. Our mission is to usher in a new era of spirituality where you don't have to be all love and light to live a life of alignment. Here, we honor all of it, the profound and the profane, the magic and the messy, and all things that make you human. So let's discuss the truth behind transformation and be unapologetic in our evolution. From manifestation to money, embodiment to energy, and all taboo topics, nothing is going to be off limits. Are you ready to live a life that feels just as good as it looks? Let's get fucking spiritual. Welcome back to another episode of the It's Fucking Spiritual podcast, a solo episode. I really love doing these. And today, this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. I have no notes. I have no plan. And I'm just going to tap into the frequency of what feels alive right now in this moment. And I put an Instagram story up and I polled you guys on what topic you wanted for today. And something that's been really alive for me in my own life and in those of you that I talked to and got an overwhelming amount of votes on this topic. If I'm so self-aware, why am I still stuck? I don't know if you've had that thought ever. It's definitely something that I've thought over the years and even recently. Why have I gone on this journey for so long? Why am I so self-aware? Why do I know all of my patterns? I know so many of the stories. I've done all of the limiting belief work. I journal. I've tried the mirror affirmations. I've tried to check the boxes of doing the things that they say that I need to do. And yet I'm still repeating a lot of the same patterns. Is that you? Do you resonate with that? Often I find that this healing journey is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. In this journey of becoming all that you're meant to become, there are cycles and there's patterns, and it's almost like it's this upward spiraling staircase where you make so much progress, you see so much change in your life, and then you come back and then, oh, there's the pattern again. And then you up level again and you do the thing and it's like, oh my gosh, I think I've overcome these things. And then boom, they show up again. What is that? Why is that? It's a question that I ask myself, and it's a question that I've been pondering a lot over the past year, and specifically on the last year of when I took time off. What is it that we're all really looking for? Is it the stuff? Is it the vision board? Is it the house? Is it the relationship? Is it the thing? On our endless pursuit for more, at least I'll talk for myself, on my endless pursuit for more. When I get there, then I'm going to find the thing. When I get the stuff, then I'm going to feel better. And I'm not going, it's this fallacy, this idea of like, when I get to the thing that I think that I need in order to feel successful, free, alive, fulfilled, then I'll be able to feel wholeness. Then I'll be able to have the intimate relationship that I want. Then I'll be able to feel success. Like, what does success even really mean? Like, what does it even mean? What is the point of doing any of this work? What is the point of looking at your limiting beliefs? What is the point of journaling? What is the point of meditating? What is the point of connecting spiritually? What is the point of being on this path, right? What I've come to realize is that there's no point in being on this path to get the things that we think that we want. You can follow all of the manifestation advice out there. You can do all of the things. You can do all of the subconscious reprogramming work. And if you find that you're doing it as a means to an end to get the thing, it's never going to feel fulfilling. Something that's alive for me in my life right now that I am getting worked by in this very moment is allowing to be in the here and now, in the present moment, and allowing that to be perfect and divine and enough, and finding pleasure in the perfect moment, or in the present moment, and allowing that to be perfect. There is nowhere that's better than here. And this is going to be a different podcast, because if you're watching this on video, I'm probably going to be closing my eyes a lot and feeling into the truth of what wants to come through. And that's why I have no notes. That's why I have no 3 bullet points to get unstuck. So I want you to listen to this and just feel my words and feel if they resonate and ring true for you. And if they do, great. And if they don't, that's okay too. But if this transmission feels true and good and alive for you, I want you to allow it to land in your body and feel the frequency of the things that I'm saying, and allow them to be a mirror for you in your own life. And what I've come to know after 6 years of being on this journey, if you don't know my story, or maybe if you're new here, I know a lot of you are newly listening to my podcast. So hi, welcome. If you're new here in this second season, a refresher on my story for those of you who don't know. And if you do know, maybe you've heard this a million times. But I spent a lot of my life numbed out to the present moment. And what that looked like when I was 16 years old was when I was 16 and my father was killed in a freak accident. I went on a journey of numbing. I wouldn't have called it that at the time. It was just an automatic habitual thing that I ended up doing. I escaped my body, dissociated from my body, because it was so painful to be me. It was so painful to be in my 3D reality that I wanted to escape it so badly that I escaped it through drugs, and I escaped it through alcohol, and I escaped it through sex, and I escaped it through attaching myself to relationships. And didn't matter if that relationship was good for me or kind to me, or if I was kind to myself. I was so unkind to myself for 8 years of my life. And I was stuck in the trenches of despair and dysregulation and turmoil and partying. And on the outside, I was the fun party girl that was like, woo, yeah, let's have fun so I don't feel. Let me escape my reality so that I don't feel the present moment, because the present moment is so fucking painful that I cannot be here. And that was not a way to live. And if you are listening to this right now and you are in your rock bottom moment, I feel for you. I know it intimately. I know it deeply. I know what it's like to have not any area of your life even a semblance close to what you know you're capable of, and having absolutely no idea how to get there, and to feel so numb, and to feel so desperate, and to feel so angry at the world and at life, and at the universe, and at God, and at men, and at yourself. So if you are in that space right now, I love you. I feel for you. And there is another way to live. I know, because I've walked it and I've walked the path. And it's been about 6 years since I had my first big awakening. And I decided to wake up that I wanted to change my life. It was 8 years numbing out with food, sex, drugs, alcohol, anything that I could to not be in my body and not feel the sensation of being in my body. And I wouldn't have used that language at the time. I just would have been like, my life fucking sucks and I don't know what else to do about it. And one day I woke up and I said, I cannot do this anymore. And I was in a freak accident that forced me to take 3 months medical leave from my corporate job where I was working 80 hours a week for somebody else's dream, doing something that I hated underneath the fluorescent lights in a 9 to 5. And I felt like I was trapped in a hamster wheel and like I couldn't get off. And then the universe gave me a miracle. And for me, that miracle was getting in a freak accident and shattering my knee and being forced to take 3 months medical leave. And my life tends to operate in extremes. So that was a very extreme example of how the universe knocked me off my path in order for me to find it again. But I promise you that there's a miracle for you in your life. And the miracle could be as simple as this podcast resonating with you and you deciding to change your life because you're listening to these words. That can be the miracle. The miracle is the moment that you allow that this is the moment that everything can change from here on out because I am making a choice and I'm deciding that it is going to change. And so my miracle led me to grabbing my computer as fast as I could in a fleeting moment of faith and Googling how to be happy. You're far ahead of me if you're already listening to this podcast because at that time, I didn't even know what podcasts were. And I Googled how to be happy and I found mindset and self-development tools. I said, oh my God, this is the key. This is the ticket. This is the thing that I want in my life. And I laid in bed as I was healing and I studied people that had overcome insurmountable obstacles in their life, people that had overcome the death of a parent like I had, people that had overcome drug and alcohol abuse, people that had repatterned their relationship with men and with codependency so that they could have deep and fulfilling relationships after coming out of years of abuse, because those are the things that I dealt with. So I searched for people that had gone through those things. And because the internet and the times that we live in are so amazing, I found answers and I found expanders in the form of other people listening to people like you are right now on this podcast and feeling the frequency of what it was that they were saying. And I said, okay, I'm going to walk that path and I'm going to change my life. And that was 6 years ago. Right now, I was laying in that bed. I had no idea how my path was going to unfold. I had no idea how I was going to create the things that I wanted to create, but I knew that I was ready for another way because the way that I was walking wasn't working. And back then I would have said that I was self-aware. And yet now looking back, I realized there were so many things that I wasn't aware of because they were stuck in my shadow and they were stuck in my subconscious and I couldn't actually see the truth of the way that I was operating. I just knew it wasn't working. And so I spent many, many years dedicated to the path of self-development that eventually turned into spirituality. And as that unfolded and what it looked like was joining programs, listening to podcasts, putting myself into different rooms, investing in things before I was ready, looking at what did other people do and trying on their ways of thinking and their ways of believing. And I would put these things in my ears all of the time, over and over again, so that I could stay inside of the frequency of change and transformation. And it worked. It worked. I changed my life drastically. Through a process of trusting and unfolding and doing the next best thing that was calling to me, whether that was pressing play on the podcast or saying yes to a program online or saying yes to a mentor or going to an event, I let the process unfold. And at each process and each time I would hear a new way of thinking and I would try that on and I would shift a little bit and I would shift 1%. Just like you're doing right now on this podcast, you are shifting your frequency even just 1%. And I would hear a new thought, or I would apply a new tool, or I would journal about something and I would have an aha moment, and that would change and shift the trajectory of my life. Because even if you shift 1 degree, where you end up is a massively different location than if you were not to shift at all. And I would apply this work and I would change, and then I would go to things, and then I would meet the one person that would give me this code for that thing, and then this person would help me over here. And in the process of unfolding now, suddenly I find myself in the heart of Austin, Texas, sitting here in a fully produced show with thousands of you that listen to this every single week. And my life is dramatically changed and transformed. And I created a lot of the vision board. 2 years ago now, and really 2 years ago this started, and then 1 year ago it changed. But I like to think of my story in cycles. So I had my first 8 years that was my dark night of the soul and the downward spiral. And then I had the next 4 or 5 years that was dedicating my life to self-development. It was drastically changing my life. It was creating programs for many of you. It was having hundreds of students go through my programs. And it was starting the podcast, and then it was having the podcast take off, and it was getting the stuff, getting the accolades, getting the recognition, proving to myself that I could do it. And I found myself in the middle of the dream home that I desired, in the middle of the podcast studio that I always wanted, surrounded by the friends and the community that I always desired to have, having more money in my bank account, and having big launches, and yet still crying because I felt burnt out. I felt exhausted, and it didn't feel how I thought it was going to feel. And so I call that phase 2 of my story and my journey that led me to taking a year off in the height of my career taking off, because I'm not actually interested in the accolades. Those are cool, and that's great, and the shiny objects are beautiful, and believe me, I'm here for the big life. I'm here for all of the bigness that you feel inside of yourself. I'm here for you getting the stuff. I'm here for you being wildly abundant and wildly supported, and I'm still a stand for all of that, but I'm not here for the accolades for the sake of having the accolades. I realize that what I'm actually here for is to be in the frequency of transformation and to be a stand for aliveness in your life, for being a stand for feeling alive and free and connected and having intimate relationships and allowing yourself to feel the full range of the human experience. That is what I'm a stand for. And as I began to realize that getting the stuff and the flashiness and the things, while all of that is beautiful, it's not the key and the ticket for what it is that I'm actually looking for. And I'm sure you listening to this podcast, what you're actually looking for is the full human experience of being alive and feeling a reverence for yourself and feeling a trust for yourself and feeling a surrender to life and allowing life to fuck you open to all of the possibilities that exist, because there's more possibility than you and I can even comprehend of. And I'm a stand for operating and being and creating in that frequency. And I've felt so disconnected from the coaching industry over the past year, and specifically the manifestation teachings that are out there. Like, I'm just not about it anymore. I don't know. I'm not available for the marketing of, look at this dream life that I've created, and you can too if you buy my program and reprogram your subconscious mind to like believe that you can have all of these things. And here's the thing, you can do all of that. you can reprogram your subconscious mind. And believe me, I actually think it's really pivotal and perfect for you to have a framework of universal laws and subconscious reprogramming and how the mind works and how your reticular activating system is working in your brain to perceive of all of the things that you're programming it to perceive of. You need that framework. I have a program that teaches all of that called Manifestation University, and it's amazing. If you are new on your journey, learn the framework. Learn the framework. And we also get to go on a journey of creating safety inside of our body, of learning how to feel again, of expanding your capacity for what you can hold and expanding your capacity to feel emotion and to feel the full range of the human spectrum, because that is why we're here. And so the reason why you're so self-aware and maybe you're still stuck is because you're existing so much in your mind and your stories, and you're smart. You're probably too smart for your own good. You know exactly why you do the things you do. You know the thing that happened in childhood that made you this way. You know that you didn't get your needs met in X, Y, and Z. You know that the underlying root of insecurity that you feel. You know why it happened. You know that you didn't get your needs met from this parent or that parent. You know the things that happened to you, and you know the story, and you've journaled on them, and you've journaled on it all fucking day. You've answered the prompts. You've said the affirmations. You've tried to override the system, but that is another version of numbing. When we exist so fully in the mind, we are not existing inside of the feeling in the body. You cannot override your body's and nervous system's patterning for safety or unsafety. You will stay stuck if you cannot feel the sensation in your body, if you are not patterned to hold it. You will know all of your stories. You will know all of your self-sabotaging mechanisms. You will know all of your perfectionism or your procrastination, and you will stay stuck in freeze. Or you will stay stuck in overgoing and overdoing and burning yourself up because you are stuck in the flight mode, because that is where your nervous system is patterned. If it feels like you have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, and you go and you stop and you go and you stop and you make some progress and then you can't, and then you like, if you feel like you are stuck in this push-pull energy, that is your nervous system saying, listen to me. Listen to me. I heard this on Instagram actually recently, and I loved it. I don't remember who said it, but they said, overthinking is underfeeling. Let it land. When we are overthinking, we are underfeeling. When you're so stuck in trying to heal and trying to figure it out and trying to feel how you can get over your limiting beliefs, you're actually stuck still out there and numbing yourself from what exists right here in the present moment that's actually perfect for you. Can you slow down enough to listen to your body? Can you resensitize yourself to feeling? Do you even know what it means to feel your emotions without going into story? I didn't. Maybe you do. Maybe you are so good at that. But I certainly didn't know what it actually meant to feel and process the emotion all the way through. to release the emotion somatically in the body. If you notice that you push away your emotion, like, I'm not going to feel that, I'm not going to think that thought, I'm not going to go there, I want to be really spiritual, I want to be really high vibe all the time, you are numb. You are numbing. You are numbing and stuffing down and stuffing into your cells the emotion that you don't actually want to feel, and you are not allowing yourself to open to the present moment and the gift that it has for you. And on the flip side, if you are ruminating and you are overfeeling and you are stuck in the emotion and you're stuck in the thing and you're stuck in the cycle, you're not actually feeling it, you are numb. You are over-processing, you are overthinking, and you're not actually feeling the thing. You're not opening to the sensation of feeling the emotion inside of your body. And that's okay. We are taught to be afraid of our emotions, that our emotions are too much, that we can't handle them, that we're afraid that if we actually feel them, that we're going to be stuck there. And that's not true. The only way to actually get unstuck is to feel it all the way through, and to feel it slowly, and to open to the sensation, and to open to the aliveness. And can you feel the perfection in the present moment of what it is that you feel right now? Can you feel the pain? Can you feel the hurt? Can you feel the shame? Can you feel the anger? Can you feel the fear that exists underneath the perfectionism and the procrastination and the fact that you're not letting yourself go for it? You're not letting yourself have the bigness of your life. Can you feel the anger of that? Can you feel the fear that's underneath the anger? And on the flip side, can you feel the abundance that's available to you right now that you're not letting in? Because you're not allowing yourself to actually receive in the present moment. We hear a lot in the spiritual community, or if you listen to like Abraham Hicks teachings, get yourself into the receiving mode. Can you get yourself into the receptive mode? Like, what does that even mean? I would have told you, yeah, I can receive it. Like, look how much I'm receiving. Look how much I'm receiving. I received this big launch. I received this money. I received this house. I received this relationship. I received these friends. No, I didn't. It's in my world and it's physically here, but I'm not receiving it because I'm not feeling it. I got all the stuff I wanted and I couldn't feel it. Because my nervous system was calibrated to being burnt out. My nervous system was calibrated to not having enough. My nervous system was calibrated to all of the things that were not working when everything else was working over here. Because I hadn't yet felt all of the things that were still somatically held in my body, I could not open to receive what I wanted. Can you drop the story that anything else is going to be better than here? Can you let yourself feel the stickiness that still exists in your cells that's unprocessed, and can you open to it? And in that opening, and as you allow it to move through your system, and as you allow yourself to feel it and allow it to dissipate out of your field, can you bring in the feeling of joy, of pleasure, and abundance in the here and now? There is no more abundance than there is right now. There is no more ability to receive than there is right now. I realized that I wasn't allowing myself to receive it because I'm still crying in my big house. That's not receiving. It's not the feeling of being alive. That's pushing it away. I hope you're getting this, and I hope this is landing for you. And if it feels like it's weird or it's a lot, I don't know. I trust that you're getting exactly what you need to get out of this. And again, I had no plan. I'm just letting it come through me because this is what is alive for me right now in my system. And I truly believe that it's not the things that we're after. It's not the big life that we're after. I believe that the big life is a byproduct of being able to receive yourself in your fullest human form and being a yes to all of it, and being a yes to the creation, and being a yes to abundance that exists now, and being a yes to being in the here and now and in the present moment. That's what it looks like to expand your capacity for more. To ground yourself enough, to ground your nervous system, to repattern it for safety. When you allow yourself the safety to feel sensation, you create space. And when you create space, you allow yourself to be filled with the wholeness and the truth of who you actually are. And when you're filled with the truth and the wholeness of who you actually are, abundance is the frequency of the highest version of you. Abundance is the frequency of now. Look at everything that exists around you when you allow yourself to process out the gunk and the crap that is not actually you. You are filled naturally with pleasure and joy and the full frequency of being alive. And when you create from that place, the bigness is a byproduct. Bigness is a byproduct, and you'll actually be able to feel it. Believe me, baby, I still want a big life. But not because it's filling a hole or a void or something that's meant to be outside of me that gives me validation so that I can feel a certain way. We cannot wait for the circumstance to be right for us to feel the aliveness that is now. And you cannot feel the aliveness that is now if your nervous system's still stuck in fight or flight. And you will still be stuck in fight or flight until you learn to repattern and hold yourself and feel the emotions that you've never felt. There is no amount of manifestation principles or journaling and affirmations or limiting belief work or neurolinguistic programming or subconscious reprogramming that you can do that will override your body's response and your body's level of safety to hold sensation and to hold all of it, to hold the depths of the darkness and the greatness of the light. But if you're willing to go there, if you are willing to honor the full spectrum of your human experience, I promise there is so much magic for you on the other side. There's so much connection. There's so much depth. There's so much deep intimacy, and you will be worked by it. But isn't that what you want? You were not meant to be born and to climb the ladder and to do the things and to work the 9-to-5 that's sucking the soul out of you and to have a mediocre marriage and relationship and to not really fully trust yourself and to not create the thing that's on your heart and then die. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast if that was supposed to be your life. And I want this for you. And I want this for myself. And that is the true path that I've walked over the past year, is stripping myself away of all of it so I could find the true essence of who I really am. And I could find the bigness inside of my body that also exists within you. You were not put on this planet to not have the bigness that is you and to not know intimately what you are capable of and the pleasure that you're capable of and the joy that you're capable of and the abundance that you get to have. You were not put on this planet to numb. You were not put on this planet to be in a constant hamster wheel of fight or flight. And I know you feel that. I know you feel that. I hope that you let this in. I hope that you let this land. I hope that you feel my emotion in this messiness. And I hope this makes you feel alive and activated. I'm really getting into the process of walking the path of the feminine-led path, and that's an episode for another time, but something that we practice inside of walking in the feminine path is being open to feeling and revealing all of it. And I've always done that on this podcast, but I'm doing it from a different place, and something I'm really committed to is to showing you guys in real time what I'm going through. And believe me, this is fucking working me to my core. Every single time that I am about to teach something new, I get worked by my very teachings. I'm hosting a free 3-day workshop called Regulate, March 5th to 7th, and I invite you to join me because we're going to be talking all about this and all about the ways that you are dysregulated and you're perpetuating that in your life and the ways to get out of it. So join us, and the link is in the show notes. I'll be emailing out all of the details, but mark your calendar, March 5th to 7th. We're going to do it 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I just decided that right now, so we're committing to that time in the evening. And there will be replays also available if you can't make that time live. I'm such a stand. I'm such a stand for you having this. I'm such a stand for you learning how to feel, for you learning how to receive, for you learning how to be in the bigness of your being. I am getting so fucking worked by this, you guys. So fucking worked in my life. My life is asking me to surrender to what this podcast wants to be. It's asking me to surrender to what this next program wants to be. It's asking me to surrender to a new way of being, to not having notes, to just sitting here and giving this transmission of whatever wants to come through me and out my mouth. It's requiring that I trust my partnership. I'm in a partnership now. It's asking that I trust what's being created. It's asking that I trust my feelings and my emotions so that I can reveal them in my partner or with my partner, in my community, and to all of you. And when we're numb, we can't feel. And when we can't feel, we can't reveal our emotion. And when we can't reveal our emotion, we can't have intimacy and we can't have impact. And I want you to have all of it. I want you to live a life full of intimacy and impact and income and abundance. And you cannot do that until you learn to feel. And you cannot learn to feel until you learn how to regulate. Yeah, join us. March 5th to 7th. It's going to be a lot of this. And a lot of more specific teachings. I'm going to have notes a little bit for that one. 3 days of learning how to regulate your system and learning how to go beyond what it is that you've been taught in the typical manifestation and self-development and spiritual realms. It's going to be going past just having self-awareness and going into feeling and going into learning that you can trust that you can hold yourself through all of it. And when you actually trust yourself to be open to what wants to come through you, when you can trust yourself to feel and hold it all, that is when you will create the life that you want. I hope this lands for you. This was really fun for me to create and rant. I sometimes feel like this is getting like a little preachy. I'm like not trying to be preachy. I'm just trying to talk to you, but fuck. Jeez. Oh. Moving a lot of energy. Yeah, that's it. That's the podcast for today. I love you. If this landed for you, please share it with a friend. Please DM me and let me know. Please share it on your socials if you're open to it and give us a review. I would love that. It really supports getting this out in the hands of more people, and so that we can all live a more regulated and grounded and free life that is actually full of abundance and we can feel it all. So with that, I love you. I'm excited to see you in March and on the episodes until then. And with that, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the It's Fucking Spiritual podcast. I am so glad that you're here. And if this episode resonated with you, I invite you to share this with a friend that you feel needs to hear it. And if you are really feeling the love and support for this show, this podcast thrives off of your listens and your reviews. So I would love if you could leave us an honest review. We would love to hear your feedback, your thoughts, your questions, and it helps us get this podcast in the hands of more people and would mean so much to me to receive your support. So thank you.